Hello. Today we're going to talk about how and where to find University of Kentucky Extension publications. So as we go through this, please feel free to drop questions in the chat and Annabelle will give me a shout. We'll have some time at the end for questions, but also, feel free to drop those in as we go. I have just a few slides to get us started, and then we will dig into the publications themselves. By way of introduction, I am Beth Reeder, Research and Instruction Specialist here in the Medical Center Library. Annabelle Smith, who I just mentioned, is going to be assisting. She's an intern, a library school graduate student and intern working with Jason Kinsley, the liaison to the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment. She did most of the heavy lifting creating the guide that we're going to go over here in a little bit. I'll show you that a little bit later. And the three of us together are basically the agricultural wing of the Med Center Library. I know you may not think of agriculture immediately when you think of the medical center, but we are housed under the MCL. So to get started, I want to talk a little bit about what extension publications are. So extension publications are born out of the UK Cooperative Extension's goal of helping to educate the Commonwealth. And so here on this slide, I've got the UK Extension mission to make a difference in the lives of Kentucky citizens through research-based education. And so they work together with Kentucky State University to take the university to the people in their local communities, addressing issues of importance of all Kentuckians. So what I think we're really stressing there is that they take the university to the people. And the way that they do that is by having these extension offices in all 120 counties. Faculty and staff work out of those offices and also from campus to engage and inform the people of the Commonwealth, all of us Kentuckians, on various issues of agricultural and even beyond agricultural importance, just some everyday stuff as well. So I would say talking about what all extension does could take up an entire workshop series alone. So I'm just going to leave that there. So publications like the ones that we're going to look at today are born out of this picture here on this slide is the Kentucky Agricultural Experiment Station. And it was established in 1885 to address the need for experimental agricultural research and then the dissemination of that research out to the Commonwealth. Results were initially communicated in the form of bulletins, but as you see here on this slide, there are a number of other types of publications that have happened or that have, they've developed since then. So like I said, it started out with these bulletins to kind of inform the public about results of the research that they're conducting there at the experiment station. Regulatory bulletins also, which they cover everything from like performance of feed for animals and just really all kinds of technical agricultural information. So as the experiment station partnered with these county level extension offices that I mentioned, the publications cover everything from food preservation, budgeting, as you see here, parenting guidance, wide variety of kinds of publications. The bulletins, like I said, basically results of formal research. The circulars are more aimed at the general public and cover things like canning, even like home decoration, furniture choice, all kinds of information there. Progress reports that report progress, as the title sounds, on various research projects. And then a few special reports based on extension and research work that I've seen them on things like good accounting software to use for your farm and just various best practices that are beneficial to the public. This strawberry, the fruit and vegetable annual research report here has information on things like the results of a year's worth of practice growing broccoli in a high tunnel. So really just a wide variety of information there. And we're going to get into the actual publications themselves by starting out on our research guide. This is essentially, since the closure of the AIC, this is our website. And this is something that Annabelle worked really hard on. And if we come down here to our specialty guides, you'll see here the link to the publications guide that we just finished up, updating some information there. And so this is just a guide that we created to kind of get people started doing research in extension publications. We've got just a little welcome here to kind of give you an idea of what the guide is for. Mine and Annabelle's information over here on the side. We link back to some sites that will be useful to people, but mostly we're going to focus on this little accordion here that's going to take us to the various sources of information. Also, for fun, we put this little slideshow in to kind of show some of the historic covers. Some of these are fun to just kind of pique interest, and just kind of a nice historical glance at those publications. So I want to start out over here in this accordion. And the first place that we recommend searching for extension publications is the Agricultural Communications Guide. So this is Extension's communications department, and this is how they present the research, right? So you can find many, mostly newer extension publications here. And in preparation for this workshop, I checked in with Dennis DeRoss, who manages the print media section of AgCom, so is responsible for making these publications available. And I was looking for ways to define each of these collections, right? And so the quote that he gave me was that this collection, this particular collection, is all those publications that they have an electronic format regardless of their age, so long as the issuing department still supports the content. So this collection should contain anything that they've published in electronic format, since they switched from doing strictly print, with the exception of publications that maybe the department's found to be problematic in some way. So maybe, newer research yielded different results, and so they no longer maybe want to present that particular publication. These are, again, things that they're not scanned historic items, just since they started publishing things in electronic format. So I'm just going to click out to this guy. And this is their search page, right? And you'll notice that they have it broken into the college catalog, which covers all the different departments, and a departmental catalog. Now, as you're searching this site, what I recommend is using this college catalog, and I'll show you why, just for ease of use. If we come down here to the departmental catalog, and let's just look at, say, animal and food sciences. Is an example of the right way to do things, I think. This takes you straight to the publication. So you can say, oh, okay, well, I want to look at beef publications. And you could drill down. They have a nice index, and it's pretty easy to navigate. And that makes me happy. However, if I come back to, say, Ag Econ, agricultural economics, it doesn't take me straight to the publications, right? So now I've got to take some time and figure out how to get there. And for this particular page, we'll look at extension, right? And then I'm looking, okay, and here's extension publications. And then you can go through and search them like that. So Now, certainly if you know what you're looking for and there are very specific things that you're looking for, you know, it's okay, this department published this, and you feel pretty confident about that, you can come through and you know, dig around a little bit and get into those, because you may find things that aren't necessarily archived on this main page. However, just starting out, I think using this college catalog is a good idea. There are a few ways that you can filter the content. You can look at area. So say you want to see what is being published for 4-H youth development, right? Okay, sweet pepper exhibit. Oh, I think I put that in my slide. Bell pepper exhibit, production and marketing. So a lot of guidance on 4-H judging and various 4-H programs, really a wide variety of stuff that 4-H does, right? And then say you want to look at community and economic development, right? And you can just kind of scroll through these things, and let me just open up one of these publications so you can see it's a nice PDF, very easy to read, information there, right? You can see who worked on it, right? And so that's a document that you can download, you can read online or download. So that's, you know, scrolling through there, just looking at area. You can also search by author, and basically you're browsing by author, right? So you can say, like, there's a particular extension agent maybe that you want to see what they've been up to. Like, let's look at Carmen Argyrides. Let's see what this Carmen person has been up to. Planting along your stream Flounder Lake. She works a lot with waterways, right? A lot of recommendations there. Again, that same PDF format that's easy to access, read through, and download if you so desire. Okay, and you can also search by department. And I think this is interesting because in addition to searching by, say, you know, 4-H programs, ag communications, you can also search by county. So that could be interesting if you want to see, say, you know, what's been going on in Fayette County, what's been going on in this case, Adair County, right? If you're not necessarily searching by subject or particular researcher. They have this Google Clicks, which I guess is sort of like a popularity contest, which documents are getting the most hits. Multi-part publications is going to show you various series. So if you're really interested, for example, forage-related cattle disorders, you can see, you know, looks like nothing published lately, but, oh, no, there it is. There we go. Yeah, so if that's something that you're following, you can see what the most recent publications they have on the site there are. Recently published, I'm not sure exactly what their date parameters are for this, but if you're just looking for the newest research that they've put out there, say you're wanting to know what has extension published on this topic that I'm researching, you can look there. Again, this is fun. You're searching by series, but let's just say maybe you don't know what these codes mean. Well, Annabelle and I jump back to our guide here. We're here to help you out. So what we did here is we created this document that defines each of these series titles, and you can use Control F to find something, you know, if you want to look at individual and family resources. Okay, well, that's, you know, 4JJ. And so you can come back to this series and say, okay, well, I want to look at, you know, what's published in 4JJ, right? If I can remember how the alphabet works here. 4JJ, there. Freezing fruits and berries, right? So again, like, some things can be a little problematic to search through, but we're trying to make that easier by doing things like creating that document. A few publications are published in Spanish here, as you can see, not a whole lot, but it's nice to know that those are available there. And finally, their tags. Also interesting, I'm not sure exactly how they decided on certain tags, but I found this really interesting. If you look at food and nutrition, you're getting, okay, human food and nutrition information. But if you look at nutrition and health, okay, now we're looking at animal and crop health. So it's just another indication of really how broad the coverage is that these extension publications are focusing in on. So one thing I want to stress about this site is it's not UK libraries. It's not our site. So we're happy to help you locate things on this site. We're happy to assist in any way we can. We wanted to point to this to help people navigate it, but agricultural communications, and in particular Dennis DeRoss, is the real expert on this. So there are times when I've hit a stuck point where I had to reach out to them to say, okay, I'm trying to find this. How do I get there? And so just a note to understand that they are the real experts of this particular platform. Annabelle, do we have any questions so far?
None so far.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to understand, like, what these publications would be classified as. Are they like state government publications? Are they trade publications? Are they peer-reviewed publications?
They do go through a peer review process. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but they are peer-reviewed publications. They're written by UK faculty, and before publication, they do go through a process of some sort. Again, agricultural communications could tell you more about exactly what that looks like, but typically when they're cataloged in InfoCat, they're cataloged as journals.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. This is all, it's a unique form, I think is safe to say. It's a little different than anything else I've ever worked with, and there was definitely a bit of a learning curve when I came to work in the old Agricultural Information Center. Okay, so in summary, AgCom's website is where you're going to look for your most recent stuff. Now, Explore UK is a platform that our Special Collections Research Center, which is part of UK Libraries, something that they've set up to provide access, digital access to our print collection from, I believe the dates are 1888 to 1978. And that's not necessarily comprehensive coverage, but what we had in our print collection, as I understand it, that was scanned in. So the SCRC, Special Collections Research Center, again, they're the experts on this particular site, but this is one that I've used a lot, and it's a great place to look for historical content because, as I said, it's not coming past 1978. Sometimes researchers that have approached me, they're wanting to revisit old techniques, going back to basics maybe, or they're writing an article about changes in methods over time. We had a professor from another university come and kind of camp out with us at the old AIC, looking over, she was doing research on training materials for extension home demonstration agents, and which I wasn't even aware existed when she first came to us. So I'll show you a little bit there how we kind of dug in and found the information she was looking for, but it was these old homemakers clubs that Extension had formed to, again, bring the university to the people out in the counties. So there are a lot of really interesting materials on here that are just kind of waiting to be rediscovered. Right here, I do want to draw your attention to this literature from the Kentucky Agricultural Experiment Station. This is a bibliography that a former agriculture librarian, Tony Grider, worked on with some other UK staff. And it contains it's 1885 to 1985. There wasn't a bibliography of everything because you can see the publications are really broad in coverage and published at different time increments. So what they did was they pulled a lot of that information together and made this comprehensive index of publications and kind of an explanation of the different types of publications. So this is a good place to look for particular documents that may have slipped through the cracks in other cataloging practices. It's got a subject, author, and title index. So some good information there if you're willing to put the work in. But what I really want to focus on is the scanned items, the actual documents themselves. And this link is going to take you directly into the Agricultural Experiment Station collection, which is all of these documents that did get scanned from our physical collection. You see over here the journals, that's what we're looking at. The books are those copies of that bibliography that I just mentioned. So all of our regular periodical extension publications are here under journals. You can browse these by year, and you can hit that more to see more dates, so you can see, the coverage there. That 1992 is that bibliography, so we don't actually have the regular publications up through that far. But let's just say, like, you're interested in the series progress report. You want to know some information about our progress, our research progress, right? Okay, and so that's going to pull up all of those various progress reports throughout the years, and you can come over here and pick a particular year to look at, and let's say 1977, right? You can see in 1977, we have 6 progress reports on various topics, right? Chipping potato research, interesting, right? Small grains, soybean performance, right? And let's just go into one of these. What do we think? Soybeans? We're always talking about corn and soybeans in our ag classes. So you can see here, got your information down here, what collection it's part of, get some more item details, a permalink to it if you want to share this with someone. Sometimes there is good text content here that you can copy and paste. But basically what you do here is you can scroll through, right? You can go through the pages like this and notice that it will make a little mark here for what your search terms are. So, I mean, I search for progress report here, but if we search for, let's pop back and say, and this is searching within the collection. When you do this, like, you can say, okay, you can get rid of your parameters here and say, let's look for poultry. We should have some good content on poultry in this collection, right? And notice here, you see we've got a circular, and remember those are the publications that are directed to the general public, progress reports, more technical information, right? So just different information for different audiences, right? All about poultry. And let's see, poultry, 1955, we have 10 of those. And what did I want to, I wanted to look at how it showed up in the highlighted your search term. So if we want to see in here where poultry is mentioned, we can go to these particular pages, right? And it'll show highlighted. But then once you get there, you do have to kind of drill in and find it yourself because it's not going to highlight it on the page. But still, it's a pretty good guide to getting where you need to be. And then just real quick, we can jump back to this. I'll show you how we found that Homemakers Club. Right, home demonstration organization, right? Home demonstration. And there are all these publications about this that I don't know that we could have found without this tool, right? Because searching in the catalog, well, I'll show you that in just a minute. But it's a little more complicated, a little harder to find particular topics like this. Annabelle, any questions thus far on this guy?
There's none in the chat.
Okay, so the person I believe to speak to about specific questions, and again, please do come to us for any kind of assistance looking for these extension publications, but Sarah Dorpinghouse in Special Collections can provide a lot of information about this particular collection as well. I have had to reach out to her on at least one occasion for assistance with that particular collection. Okay, I'm going to hop back to the guide, right? Okay, so we've covered new, we've covered old, and print kind of spans new and old. So our print publications are mostly located in Young Library. Before the Agricultural Information Center closed, we did have a lot of them there. Some of those have been moved to storage. And then there are also some print housed in the special collections. So in Young and in storage, those are circulating copies, whereas those in special collections are ones that you have to like schedule an appointment to see because maybe they're not in great repair and they need to be handled in-house. So these can be searched in InfoCat Discovery, our catalog, by call number. And each of these links is going to take you out to that particular series in the catalog, right? So I'll just pop out to Ag Econ. I don't have a thrilling story about this collection, but I will say, like the home demonstration agents, looking for that in the catalog wouldn't have gotten us where we ended up because all of these, I mean, obviously not in Ag Econ, but these are all bound by series, and you can't just search in the catalog for a particular author because these are all considered under the authorship of the experiment station or extension service, right? So here it is in the catalog, and if you're signed in, you'll have the option to request these to have them sent to whichever location you might want to pick them up. This defines the parameters of the collection, what we actually have available. And then it also shows you in the library here, of course, where those are located if you wanted to actually hoof it over there and look for those in Young Library. Yeah, and as I mentioned, you can book expressly to your desired location. So, like I said, usually when I'm looking for something in print, I already know what I'm looking for. You know, I know when it was published, and I know whether it was a circular or a progress report, an annual report, whatever. But if you're trying to figure it out and you would like to see it in print, it's great to look at that Explore UK if it's an older item to kind of get an idea for where you would locate it. Any questions about that? No,
There's still no questions in the chat.
I'm either explaining things very well or people would rather see things in electronic format. Okay, so UKnowledge is our library system, our university repository for scholarship from our faculty, staff, and students. This is another location that you can visit for extension publications, but I will say the coverage here is light. Adrian Ho, our digital scholarship librarian, tries to work with faculty to get them to post stuff here. This link will take you straight out to the extension publications collection, but you can, of course, search for other collections. You can go up higher level to see other ag publications or look in other departments, but this is the front page for the extension publications that they have collected here. And you can follow this. So as Digital Scholarship works on thickening out this collection, if you have a BPress account, you can sign in and follow this so that you do get those updates, which I'm not going to do right now. And then you see here coverage is a little bit lighter. Some 4-H publications, ANR. I'm going to pop into community and economic development. And we have, you know, a few. Again, it's PDFs that you can download, right? And you may already be familiar with this, but you can download the publication. You have metrics, which is kind of a benefit of posting things here in addition to having them on the AgCom website, because if you have things here, you can you get a monthly report with your number of downloads, which is nice. So you can kind of track usage, right? So as you can see, this one has got quite a few downloads historically, and Abstract Views, it tracks both of those. So I know that not a ton of stuff here, but definitely there are benefits to be had by posting things here. I don't want to mess up anybody's metrics by
Beth, we have a question in the chat.
Huh?
I said, Beth, we have a question.
Oh, okay. What's that?
The question is, are the publications in UK Knowledge duplicated anywhere else, or are they unique to UK Knowledge?
They may be duplicated through like AgCom, through the Ag Communications site. Adrian Ho asks just that people contact him, or he contacts people about getting these things put in here, and then his department looks at the copyright issues surrounding having it published in more than one place. So sometimes it might be a slightly different version than one that's published someplace else. It all just kind of depends on those technical copyright agreements. So that'll vary. Any other questions?
None so far.
Good to move along. Okay, so that pretty much summarizes our in-house UK coverage of extension publications. We do also link out here to some external resources. Agricola, it's not going to have nearly the breadth of coverage as these other sites that we've talked about. some major reports here. If we pop out into that, of course I'm not logged in, even though I thought that I logged in this morning. Nope. All right, we'll get there. Okay, so if you're familiar with other EBSCOhost databases, that is, this is a relatively simple format or a platform to search. Again, this is not by any means my #1 recommended place to search, but if you're having difficulty finding things in other places, this might be a good place to look. So if we try University of Kentucky, and we do that as an author search. Right. And then we come down here and look at all the various publishing bodies through UK. We can look at the Cooperative Extension Service and see, various publications. So like calibration of pesticide equipment, right? And again, that's your full record as you would see in your other databases. You can hit view now to see if we do have it available on campus. And otherwise, if we don't, you can request it via interlibrary loan and you might get a scan or a print copy set. And of course, I'm not logged into this either, but we have no full text available. Right. So you have options there to check on availability for that. But again, I would say Agricola, not my first choice for finding publications, but definitely an option. This Agricola, Jason Kinsley, the cafe liaison, did a workshop in the series on this last week, and the link to that recording is on the research workshop site. So if you want to do a little more analysis of Agricola, I recommend that recording. Extension Foundation, which used to be known as Extension, and they just changed their name March 8th, I believe. So this is a really interesting site. Or this is it's a very simple one box search, a little Google search that will take you to sites kind of like that AgCom site, the agricultural communication site. These departments at all the land grant universities provide content, and this kind of crawls those. And so you can search for UK or other state publications here. And so let's say I want something from Kentucky, right? And I want to know what Rick Besson has been up to lately, one of our researchers in CAFE, right? And so you see publications that Dr. Besson has been involved with and published in Kentucky. And let's say, what are we interested in? Oh, this fella, right? So information, and if you notice, we talked about the wide variety of extension publication types. This is an ent fact information sheet. So the fact sheet on entomology issues, right? So this is something that you're not going to be able to just search the catalog and find. And also something to consider is if you're looking for things like newsletters or programming, things like that, you can actually go out to each extension office's county site and find even more forms of information. So it's really, there's a lot out there to be found. And yeah, so a lot of interesting content here. And of course, you can find stuff from other universities here as well, as you can also in Agricola. Okay. And I don't want to run us totally out of time, but let's see. If we look at Haughty Trust, is an online repository. And it has all kinds of information, not just extension publications, of course, but this is another great place to search for, full text in publications that have been scanned and submitted to HathiTrust. So if I do a catalog search here, just to kind of see what they have available for station. Oh, I did not mean to do all fields. I want to do author. All right, that gives me an idea of what they have available, different formats here. There are those various forms of publications. All right, so let me look. Let me see. What should we jump into here? Just look at a regulatory bulletin. All right. So we can see this was actually uploaded by University of California, even though it's, one of ours. Sometimes you can see the full view. You can actually go in and browse the content. If you're signed in, University of Kentucky is a partner. So if you're signed in, you are able to download particular, some documents you can, some documents you can't. You can try to find it in a library, and that just pops you out to WorldCat. So if you want to do like an interlibrary loan request for something that you determine that we don't have here at UK, you have that option. And of course, you can also just browse through it. You can, outside of doing that catalog search, you can also go through and do a full text search. And that is, again, how I have found documents that I wasn't able to find just by searching our catalog. Because even if you can't access the full text on here, you can find that the text you're looking for is included in a particular edition and then go from there. And it's kind of a breadcrumb trail. Okay. Any questions at this point?
There are none in the chat right now.
Okay, well, I will say a lot of this, for me anyway, has been trial and error. And in trying to find things for people, or just in trying to learn the collection, I've made a lot of mistakes and tried that much harder. And what Annabelle and I wanted to do with this guide is kind of make the beginning part of your search a little easier, kind of give you an idea, set parameters for where to find, or for each collection, like, okay, new here, old here, print here, right? So kind of where to begin, where to start browsing. But ultimately, if you are having difficulty, we do want you to reach out. I want you to reach out to me, and I may have to reach out to Jason at certain points, but we do want to help you find what it is you're looking for. I've had to reach out to AgCom, I've had to reach out to special collections and to libraries and extension departments at other universities to try to locate things. You learn a lot about a lot of different extension publications across the nation as the need arises. So please do reach out. And
I bet there's a question in the chat.
Yes.
Are these publications used more by faculty or by students?
I have not had a lot of students coming to me about extension publications. Mostly it's faculty. However, we have had some faculty assign extension research to students. So sometimes it's like part of assignments. There's one of our weed specialists wanted to make sure that her students were reading extension publications. So I see more in faculty, but some of those faculty who see great value in these things are sending students that way. I just haven't had those students come to me. Any other questions?
There are no others in the chat right now.
Okay, well, my contact information is right here. Please do reach out with any questions. I've listed the cafe LibGuide there as our website. And I guess that's it for me. Thank you.